Hi everyone, I'm Father Scott Vanderveer coming to you today from my little hermitage here at the Monastery of Bethlehem. I've been in silence here for the past 7 days, something I had been planning to do for months. But I got some sad news while I was here. I learned that one of my dearest friends and mentors, Sister Mary Frances Cannon, who I have known for over 25 years and who has led me through so many passages of life, died unexpectedly from complications from a car accident that she had 7 weeks ago. I was shocked and amazed by the news. I still am in a fog. If you have been watching this YouTube channel, you may know that we just had a conversation together that we recorded and posted as a Profiles of Endurance podcast episode. It's right here on this channel. You can find it. It was just recorded 3 weeks ago. In that interview, she tells about the incredible journey of her life, raising kids in the South, and then realizing that after her nest was empty, that she was called to be a sister, a Franciscan nun, and went on that journey. And 25 years ago, I was in my early 20s working as a volunteer in the AmeriCorps Vista program at a Catholic hospice house for the poor in Utica, New York. And she was in another ministry, kitty corner from me, a orphanage for kids called Agape House. So Abraham House and Agape House were the two places we were working. She, new to the convent and in her 50s, and me, 23 years old, fresh out of college and a tour of Up With People. And she was exactly what I needed at that time in my life. Her phrases so often come out of my mouth. Her influence is what helped me to become a priest. And you can probably tell that I have to hold back not to let that emotion flow, even at this very minute. It brings up something about aging that many of you know better than I do, but is something worth talking about and pondering, a word that Sister Mary Frances taught me. She said, it's so important to ponder, my friend. Here is what I'm pondering today. Everyone who ages has to learn to take in everything they possibly can from their mentors, because their mentors will be gone one day. If we have people ahead of us on the journey of life, it is very likely that unless there is a change of the way things often work, they will predecease us, and we will be left with memories of them, but without them by our side to lead us. Mary Frances was always someone I could turn to when I was going through a hard time. She was always someone who would have a word of wisdom. She would calm me. She would put things in perspective. She would tell a story from her own journey that would connect perfectly to mine. I now have to figure out how to do that with her in heaven. And she had gone through the same thing in her life. As a 75-year-old woman, she had lost a twin brother. She'd lost both of her parents. She'd lost an infant daughter. That one was the hardest. She had been through so many losses of mentors and loved ones in her life. She talked often of a woman named Irma, who was like a spiritual mother to her, and how painful it was to lose her. But this is exactly what happens as we go through life. We are meant to take in all of the wisdom that people give us, to make it our own, and then to live it and share it with others. Something I often do when I'm in silence on retreat is I bring pictures of people who have passed that have been an inspiration to me. I brought a picture of Father Michael Ferrano, the longtime Vicar General of the Diocese, pastor of St. Pius School in Loudonville, and he was the pastor there when I was a teacher there back 15 years ago. He was a rock. He was someone you could always go to, and he now lives with God. Sister Maureen Joyce, the queen of Catholic Charities here in the Albany area. She is someone who inspired us so incredibly with all of the work that she did. As a Catholic Charities adopted child, she was instrumental in the Catholic Charities Maternity Services program, which is now called Community Maternity Services. I was adopted through the Catholic Charities program of that type in the Rochester Diocese. This is the kind of work that Sister Maureen Joyce did. She is the kind of person that led to me being the Scott Vanderveer that I am today. What do we do when we lose our mentors? Well, if you're older than I, you know that this is a big part of life. It is a big part of the journey that shows that we're pilgrims, that shows that we don't have all the answers. But one thing is for sure, the elders among us who inspire us with their wisdom have lost many of their elders and mentors along the way. And what we are hearing from them is the accumulation of the wisdom that was given to them. There is a Native American poem that talks about how when all the elders are gone, we must recognize that in the end, we are the ones we were waiting for. We are the ones that the generations that follow are depending on to walk forward with wisdom, to share what we have heard and learned, to be able to help other generations cross those raging rivers that they face. It is not lost on me that in many ways, Sister Mary Frances can help me more from heaven than she even did on earth. She was, at the time of her death, working as a sister of St. Francis in Anderson, South Carolina. She was also the guardian of her 10-year-old grandson, Matthew, and was raising him. She was an incredible bridge builder who brought so many strands of life together. I honestly believe that she was a living saint. I talked about her recently in a homily. You may remember that. It's from the 6th Sunday of Easter. It goes back to May 5th and 6th this year. But I told the story about her having the car accident and being in the hospital and the way she treated the hospital staff. And in that, I connected her to a story of Mother Teresa, who said we are called to be pencils in God's hand as God is writing a love letter to the world. Sister Mary Frances was a pencil in the hand of God that was writing a love letter to the world. So I can't just admire her now. I have to be like her. I have to bring into my life her best qualities. There was inscribed on a tombstone in Ireland this remarkable phrase that I'm thinking of so much today. I never saw it, but it was told to me by someone who did. It said, "Death leaves a hurt that no one can heal, but love leaves a connection that no one can steal." I have been looking for ways to be comforted in the loss of Mary Frances, and there have been a number. But I have a pain from her loss that cannot be easily healed, nor numbed, nor avoided. She was the one who taught me, when you're in pain, stay right where you are. Jesus will meet you right where that pain is. So I have to know that I can't run, and it can't be healed this side of heaven. But my connection with her is one that no one can steal. Who are you thinking of as I talk about Sister Mary Frances? Who were are your great mentors in life? Who are the ones that are guiding you or did guide you? How have you brought their best wisdom into your life? How are you living out all that they have modeled for you and taught you? As we age and we lose them one by one by one, how can we encourage one another and find ways to live their wisdom in the choices we make and in the connections that we have with the generations that follow? Mary Frances was a gift to me, and I can feel sad that she's no longer here, but it ignores the fact that I had 25 years with this incredibly precious friend in my life. I hope that you have people like that in your life, and it just encourages me all the more for the great banquet that we await in eternity when together we reunite in glory. May God bless you all.